Magkasaka, magkakapit, sa hamon na buhay, di ba magkatino? Ako ang iyong kasamang kaibigan, sa ating kapapatayan. Magkasaka tayo, magkasaka, magkakapit, magkasaka, magkakapit.
Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Equilibrium Probiotics. Ito ay ang bagong food supplement na gawa sa mga piling gulay at prutas at dumaan sa isang masusing proseso para mapangalagaan ang inyong kalusugan. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay dinisenyo para sa kalusugan ng ating tiyan, tulungan ang pagkuha ng sapat na nutrisyon at ang pagpapalabas sa ating sistema ng mga nakakasirang toxins. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may iba't ibang disenyo at sangkap base sa inyong pangangailangan. Mula sa boost para sa mga bata, fortitude, boost to brain, miracle fruit, periwinkle, at ang pinakabago, liver fruit. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may pagmamalaki ng produktong gawa sa kanya. Ito ay mabibili sa Lasien, Geta Road, San Sebastian, Phase 3, Pinauganan, Tarlac City. At para sa mga malalayong lugar, mabibili din ang produkto ng Equilibrium Probiotics sa Lazada. Ito ay eksklusibong gawa ni Ginang Malu Reyes Lure. Ano pang hinihintay niyo, mga masangga? Hala, bili na! MSB, Kape at Balita sa Umaga. Hatid sa inyo ni Kuya Dong. Magandang umaga po mga kasangga, kakampi, kapamilya, kaanak, at lahat ng ka. Ito naman po ang inyong Kuya Dong, maghahatid sa inyo ng MSB Kape at Balita sa Umaga, araw ng Biyernes, May 26. At ang nakakatakot ito kakadaan lang po ng bagyong Mawar sa Guam at siya po ay nanalasa doon, no? At mukhang papalapit na po sa ating Philippine area of responsibility, although we are all praying na hindi po siya tutuloy or magla-landfall sa atin. So sana po hanggang bakuran na lang si Mawar na pagpasok po sa ating teritoryo. Ang magiging pangalan na po niya Betty, si Betty, no? Di bali na lang sana yung Betis na alam natin na gumagawa ng kakanin, no? Kaso hindi Ito po yung Betty na nakakasira, nakakapinsala. Sana po hindi na lang po siya mag-landfall. Okay? At kagaya po ng mga ibang araw natin, ako po yung maghahatid sa inyo ng mga news update lang po, news updates. At pinili na po yung mga top news na isi-share sa inyo ngayong umaga. Bago po natin simulan ang ating pagbabalita, ano po muna tayo? Magkaroon po muna tayo ng isang maikling panalangin. Sa ngalan ng Ama, ng Anak, ng Espiritu Santo. Amen. Mahal naming lumikha, maraming salamat sa bagong araw na ipinagkaloob ninyo sa amin. Sa mapayapang gabing lumipas at sa patuloy na pagbuhos ng iyong mga biyaya sa amin at sa aming bayan. Naway ipagkaloob mo pa sa amin ang lakas at tibay ng loob upang mapaglabanan ng kasamaan
at manatili po kami sa paggawa ng mabuti sa kapwa at pagsunod sa inyong itinurong tamang landas. Lahat ng gawain namin, inaalay namin sa iyong anak na si Jesus, na aming Panginoon. Amen. Sa ngalan ng Ama, ng Anak, ng Espiritu Santo. Amen. Magandang umaga po! Magandang umaga po sa lahat, mga kasangga, mga kakampi. At umpisa na po natin ang ating pagbabalita. For our top news for today, May 26, Friday. Bohol named UNESCO Global Geopark first for Philippines. Betty, a super typhoon again, approaches Philippines. Farmers question onion suggested retail price deferment. And for our global roundup, Guam weather storm as Typhoon Mawar moves west. And updates on Russia and Japan relationship and the Sudan clashes. And for our regional news roundup, Metro LGUs brace for Mawar. Remove vessel with smuggled fuel in Pangasinan, BOC ask. 190.4 million shabu seized in Laguna. And for our sports update, flicker of hope in Boston. And for our top news, Bohol named UNESCO Global Geopark first for Philippines. Report by Pia Lee Brago for the Philippine Star. Bohol has been named as the Philippines' first global geopark, joining sites and landscapes of international geological significance. The United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO, has endorsed the addition of 18 new sites from around the world, including the Philippines, to its network of outstanding geoparks, showcasing some of the most beautiful sites of natural beauty around the globe. The 18 new destinations bring to 195 UNESCO geoparks in 48 countries, covering a total surface area of 486,709 square kilometers, equivalent to twice the size of the United Kingdom. Two UNESCO member states are joining the network for the first time: New Zealand and the Philippines, UNESCO said in a statement. The other new global geoparks are Cacapava and Quarta Colonia in Brazil, Lavriotique in Greece, Iyen Maros Pamket, Berengin Jambi, and Raha Ampat in Indonesia, Aras and Tabas in Iran, Hakusan Tedorigawa in Japan, and Mount Kinabalu in Malaysia, Waitaki Whitestone in New Zealand, Sunhord Land in Norway, Jeonbuk-West Republic of Korea, Cabo Ortegal, Spain, Korat in Thailand, Mume Bullion Strangford in United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Ball Island's global geopark status was announced during the 216th session of the UNESCO's Executive Board, which was held in Paris, France. The UN agency and Bohol Island's geological identity has been placed together over 150 million years as periods of tectonic turbulence have raised the island from the ocean depths. The geopark abounds in karstic geosites such as caves, sinkholes, cone karst, including the famous cone-shaped chocolate hills at the center of the geopark. UNESCO described the Philippine area as having scenic and varied landforms and structural features. The geopark features one of the six double barrier reefs in the world and the only barrier reef in Southeast Asia, it said. The UNESCO Global Geopark designation, created in 2015, recognizes geological heritage of international significance. Geoparks serve local communities by combining the conservation with public outreach and a sustainable approach to development. So good news po sa ating mga Boholanos. The whole island of Bohol is now a UNESCO site. So kasama na po yan lahat po ng tourist destination ng Bohol. Good news po para sa inyo, mga bista. Sana po pangalagaan nyo pa ang inyong isla nang sa ganun mas marami pa tayong mga bisitang maparating galing sa ibang bansa. Moving on to the next top news. Betty, a super typhoon again, approaches Philippines. Report by Romina Cabrera to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. Tropical cyclone Mawar, which will be given the local name Betty once inside the Philippine area of responsibility, has super typhoon and may enter far later today or tomorrow morning. The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration, or PAGASA, said that Mawar, after roaring across Guam, was located 2,000 kilometers east of the southeastern Luzon as of 3 p.m. PAGASA said that a slight southward shift in forecast models shows potential for a much closer approach to the country. Mawar's maximum sustained winds may reach 215 kilometers per hour by Sunday. Currently, Mawar is already bringing 195 kilometers per hour maximum sustained winds and a gustiness of up to 240 kph as it heads west-northwest at 15 kilometers per hour. The rain bands of the cyclone may bring heavy rains over Cagayan Valley between Sunday and next Tuesday. Tropical cyclone wind signals may be hoisted in the next days as strong to gale force conditions may be experienced in the region. Mawar may enhance the southwest monsoon and trigger monsoon rains over western portions of Luzon and Visayas starting Sunday or Monday next week. However, this scenario may still change depending on the track and intensity of the cyclone. The southwesterly wind flow is bringing cloudy skies over parts of the country. Scattered rain showers are forecast over Palawan, western Visayas, northern Mindanao, Sargen, Zamboanga Peninsula, and Barm. The southwesterly wind flow and localized thunderstorms will also bring isolated rain showers over Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Government preparations. President Marcos assured the public that the government has prepared for possible effects of Mawar. In a Facebook post, the president noted that the cyclone could cause rains and floods in some areas in Luzon and Visayas. We're continuously monitoring Super Typhoon Mawar, which is expected to enter the Philippine area of responsibility tomorrow night, May 26, or Saturday morning. We are preparing for its effect not just in the northern part of the country, but also in all other areas that may be affected, he said in Filipino. Marcos said he had met with Defense Department officer in charge Undersecretary Carlito Galvez Jr. to ensure that funds and food packs are prepositioned, response teams on standby, and local governments in areas to be hit by the cyclone are ready. Local governments in Metro Manila should prepare for Tropical Cyclone Mawar, which will enter PAR during the weekend. Metropolitan Manila Development Authority (MMDA) Acting Chairman Romando Artes declared yesterday. He added that they have identified critical areas where Metro Manila LGUs should mobilize their personnel and assets in case of flooding. Teams are prepared, equipped, and trained. Communication lines are open with the LGUs so that teams will be immediately dispatched if needed, he said. For MMDA, Artes said its urban search and rescue team, composed of 20 rescuers trained in water search and rescue operations, is currently on standby for deployment. Met with officials of Metro Manila LGUs at the MMDA's new headquarters in Pasig City yesterday, where they discussed measures on response as Mawar would enhance the southwest monsoon or Habagat, which could bring heavy rains. In Cordillera, the Office of the Civil Defense reminded LGUs not to let their guard down even if Mawar is not expected to make landfall. Apayao Governor and PDRRMC Chair Elias Bulot Jr. has directed the prepositioning of manpower and other logistics in highly vulnerable areas in the province. The Department of Social Welfare and Development, Apayao, has prepared an additional 1,500 family food packs from the National Resource Operations Center. For its part, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, AFP, has alerted all search, rescue, and retrieval units for humanitarian assistance and disaster response operations in areas expected to be affected by Typhoon Mawar. AFP spokesman Colonel Miguel Aguilar said vehicles and personnel are being prepared to assist in the mandatory evacuation of residents in vulnerable areas. Air and naval assets are also on standby for deployment for future aerial assessment, transport, and evacuation operations, he announced. The Philippine Red Cross chairman, Richard Gordon, said it has mobilized its volunteers and assets in preparation for the possible effects of Mawar. The PRC chief said emergency response units and volunteers are ready to immediately report to its operations center. The humanitarian organization has also prepared relief goods for people that may be displaced by the typhoon. Meanwhile, East Zone concessionaire Manila Water Company Incorporated said it beefed up preparations to ensure continued water service to its customers when Super Typhoon hits the country this weekend. In a statement, Manila Water said it has started necessary preparations to ensure service continuity with the expected onslaught of Mawar, which is projected to bring heavy rains and strong winds in Metro Manila and other parts of Luzon. Harvest matured crops. The Department of Agriculture yesterday advised farmers to harvest mature crops amid the threat of mawar. At the same time, the Agriculture Department called on farmers to relocate animals, farm machineries, and equipment to higher ground and clean drainage and irrigation and rice paddies of obstructions to prevent flooding. The DA also tasked its regional field offices, bureaus, attached agencies, and corporations to ensure the prepositioning of seeds for rice and corn, drugs and biologics for livestock and poultry in safe storage facilities. It also assured coordination with local government units in monitoring the super typhoon. North Luzon airports get ready. Airport in northwestern Luzon under the management of the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines or CAAP are gearing up for Mawar. Airports that may be affected include Tuguegarao Airport, Basco Airport, Ibayat, Kawayan, and Palanan airports. Additionally, airports in Luwag, Bigan, and Baguio are also gearing up for possible harsh weather conditions. CAAP spokesperson Eric Apolonio said. Apolonio added that CAAP-operated airports are often well prepared in the event of flight delays or possible cancellations brought by natural calamities, and utmost care is usually provided to affected passengers. To further assist stranded travelers, malasakit help kits and help desks are readily available at airports to address their needs. CAAP urged the public to stay informed and are also advised to contact their respective airlines for updates on flight schedules and any changes that may arise due to the typhoon. Lightning alert grounds 81 flights. Meanwhile, around 81 domestic and international flights were delayed after the Manila International Airport Authority temporarily put on hold flights at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport due to inclement weather. The Airport Ground Operations and Safety Division issued a lightning red alert on Wednesday, 6:23 p.m. and lifted it at 8:55 p.m. MIAA officer in charge Brian Ko appealed for understanding and cooperation while they are at work on the ground where exposure for environmental hazards is higher. Additional reports from Bella Cariaso, Artemio Dumlao, Gio Ong, Rudy Santos, Michael Punumbayan, Alexis Romero, Emmanuel Tupas, Danessa Rivera, Ralph Edwin Villanueva. Rounding up our top news, farmers question onion SRP deferment. Report by Bella Cariaso to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. Farmers Group Samahang Industriya ng Agrikultura yesterday questioned the Department of Agriculture decision to delay the enforcement of a suggested retail price or SRP scheme for onions. 150 per kilo for the red bulbs and 140 for the white variety as an attempt to bring market prices down. Jason Kainglet, the group's executive director, told the Star in an interview that there may be a bigger reason for this latest move. Are they protecting the cartel? It's very unfortunate. What's the bigger reason for postponing or delaying it? Kainglet said in reaction to the announcement that DA Senior Undersecretary Domingo Panganiban did not sign the draft order on the SRP for onions. He noted that during a meeting on March 19, everybody agreed to implement the 150 peso SRP for red onions and 114 for white onions. This means that the DA officials are not sure of the power of the agency. They asked for everybody's cooperation. Everybody cooperated, and now they are dilly-dallying, Kainglet said. He claimed that days after the announcement of the decision to impose an SRP, the retail prices of onions already went down in different Metro Manila markets. Even the cold storage operators, they are now selling at 90 pesos to 100 pesos per kilo wholesale price for white onions. It is not a problem on SRP, it's the implementation, Kenglet said. Nothing that the imposition of an SRP would lessen the pressure on the need to import onions to address the high prices of the bulbs. He argued that the DA has a unit to ensure compliance once the SRP is imposed. The DA Inspectorate under Assistant Secretary James Layo has commitment to go after those who will not comply. The local government units or LGUs are also awaiting the SRP so that they can also move. The local monitoring council cannot move because there is no SRP, he pointed out. According to Kenglet, under Republic Act 7581 or the Price Act, those who will fail to follow the SRP can be charged with profiteering and price manipulation. The Price Act is clear that those who violate the cost structure can be charged with profiteering. The whole industry was involved in the cost structure from producers, traders, cold storage operators, wholesalers, and retailers. That is why the 150 peso SRP is not impossible. In fact, the profit is more than enough as the farm gate price only ranged between 50 peso and 70 pesos during harvest, Kainlet noted. Kainlet said that only profiteers would benefit from the delay in implementation of the SRP. The more you delay, the more you give opportunity to the profiteers to profit more. The SRP was supposed to take effect last Monday after a consensus was reached during a meeting with various stakeholders on May 19. The consultation was attended by DA officials, onion farmers, farmers groups, wholesalers, traders, and retailers. DA spokesman Rex Estoperes has admitted that Panganiban took into consideration zero compliance on the previous SRP imposed on the bulbs. The DA implemented a 250 peso per kilo SRP in December 2022, but the price of onions skyrocketed to 720 pesos per kilo, and the shortage in supply. In February 2023, the agency also imposed a 125 SRP on imported onions and failed to get compliance from traders and retailers. Days after the announcement on the implementation of 150 peso SRP for red onions, the retail prices of the bulbs started to go down as based on monitoring of the DA on Monday. Only the Marikina public market sold as high as 200 peso per kilo of onions. The retail prices of onions in Metro Manila markets, particularly in New Las Piñas, Guadalupe Public Market in Makati City, San Andres Market, Quinta Market, and Pritil Market in Manila, Pamilihang Lungsod ng Muntinlupa, Pasay City Market, Pasig City Mega Market, Commonwealth Market, Muñoz Market, Mega Q Market in Quezon City, and Malabon Central Market range between 150 and 190 per kilo. Moving on to our global news updates. Guam weather storm as Typhoon Mawar moves west. Reports from Agence France Press to the Philippine Star. Los Angeles, United States. Typhoon Mawar was moving away from Guam on Thursday, prompting the governor of the U.S. territory to declare the island had weathered the storm. Forecasters said the typhoon had blasted Guam with winds of 140 miles per hour or 225 kilometers per hour on Wednesday, when the eye of the storm passed just north of the island. Mawar was now heading towards the Philippines and Taiwan, packing stronger winds of 150 miles per hour, the U.S. National Weather Service said. We now continue to focus our efforts on repairing infrastructure and restoring services to residents, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero said in an Instagram post. I want to thank you all for taking all the safety precautions issued and have once again weathered the storm. Residents on the island of 170,000 people said on Thursday evening that conditions were improving. Winds are finally dying down. Lots of debris in my yard, Becky Merrill, a 46-year-old middle school teacher, told AFP from a southern area of the island. Tens of thousands of homes were without power Thursday, the Guam Power Authority said, but noted that a total blackout had been avoided. We recognize that the widespread power outages make post-typhoon recovery difficult. Your GPA engineers and line crews began assessing damages and making repairs to critical infrastructure at first light today, it said in a Facebook post on Thursday. A full damage assessment had yet to be completed. Images on social media show the impact of winds that had uprooted trees, swept away vehicles, and dislodged roofs, throwing debris everywhere. As sunlight is starting to peak, we are waking up to a rather disturbing scene out there across Guam, an NWS forecaster said Thursday morning. We are looking out our door and what used to be a jungle looks like toothpicks. It looks like a scene from the movie Twister, with trees just thrashed apart. Ocean conditions are still treacherous, even for large vessels, the agency said. Heading west, the NWS said Mawar was about 135 miles west-northwest of Guam as of 1:46 p.m. local time, and it was expected to maintain its intensity for the next 2 days. Forecasting models suggest it was heading towards Taiwan or the Philippines, it said. In Washington, the White House said President Joe Biden had been briefed on the situation. The White House is in close contact with the government of Guam and has offered much support as needed, a spokeswoman said. About 21,700 U.S. military personnel and their families are based on Guam, which routinely hosts nuclear attack submarines and long-range bombers. The territory is also home to key electronic listening posts, and the U.S. bases have some of the Pacific region's most significant ammunition and fuel storage facilities. Lieutenant Commander Katie Koenig, spokesperson for Joint Region Marianas, said military aircraft and ships departed before the destructive winds began or were sheltered in hangars, except for one vessel which remains in port due to an inoperable engine. Koenig added that all military and civilian personnel were instructed to take shelter. Our service members throughout the Marianas routinely exercise natural disaster response, and we are ready and postured to respond. once the all clear order is given, she said. Moving on to the next global updates. Here's a follow story on Russia and Japan relations. Japan's joint staff say it scrambled fighter jets Thursday after Russian intelligence gathering aircraft were detected off its coast along the Pacific Ocean and Sea of Japan. One Russian aircraft traveled from Japan's north down along part of its west coast, while the other took a similar route along the opposite coast and returned the same way, the joint staff say in a brief statement. In response, fighters of the Air Self-Defense Force, Northern Air Force, and other units were scrambled, it adds. Report from Agence France Presse to Philippine Star. Next, on global updates, on the Sudan clashes. Sudan's warring sides on Thursday accused each other of being behind breaches of the latest ceasefire that was negotiated by the US and Saudi Arabia, now in its third day. The 1 week truce was violated only minutes after it came into effect on Monday night, with residents of the capital Khartoum reporting airstrikes and artillery fire shaking the city. Breaches have since persisted of the ceasefire agreement, which is meant to allow for much needed humanitarian aid to reach war ravaged parts of the Northeast African country. Reports from Agence France Presse to the Philippine Star. Moving on to regional updates. Metro LGU's brace for Mawar. Report from Emmanuel Tupas to the Philippine Star. Local government units in Metro Manila are preparing for heavy rain and strong winds spawned by Super Typhoon Mawar, locally called Betty, which is suspected to enter the Philippine area for responsibility this weekend. In Marikina, the city government has mobilized its resources for search and rescue operations, Mayor Marcelino Teodoro said. Teodoro said the city's frontline personnel are ready to respond to emergency situations. Apart from their own manpower, Teodoro said volunteers are also on standby as augmentation forces and, and ready to assist residents in need of assistance. With Mawar's projected strength, Teodoro urged the public to be vigilant. He reminded residents to comply with authorities in case there is a need to implement forced evacuations. Teodoro added they are monitoring the water level of the Marikina River. The local governments of Caloocan, Malabon, Navotas, and Valenzuela are also preparing for Mawar. According to Von Villanueva, head of the Navotas Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, food and non-food items are ready for distribution to those who would be affected by the typhoon. Villanueva said the local police and Bureau of Fire Protection are on standby for rescue operations. Public schools will be used as evacuation sites, he said. Malabon Mayor Jeannie Sandoval, along with City Police Chief Colonel Amante Darro, inspected the Longos floodway yesterday to ensure the safety of residents. In Valenzuela, Mayor Wes Gatchalian said they have prepared disaster kits good for 3,000 families. Rescue equipment and tents are also ready, he said. Gatchalian said 1 billion peso Valenzuela Obando may Kawayan pumping station, which underwent preventive maintenance, is now operational. Additional report from Mark Ernest Villesa. Updates from the provinces in Pangasinan. Remove vessel with smuggled fuel in Pangasinan. Bureau of Customs asked. Reports by Cesar Ramirez to the Philippine Star. Lingayen, Pangasinan, Philippines. The Bureau of Customs should remove a vessel loaded with more than 1 million liters of smuggled fuel docked in Suwal Bay, according to Pangasinan provincial government. The ship should be moved to a safer location to protect the Bay Area from destruction in the event crude oil from the ship leaks. Governor Ramon Wico was quoted as saying in a post on the official Facebook page of the provincial government on Wednesday. Provincial Legal Officer Baby Ruth Torre said she has written the POC regarding the request of the provincial government. Motor vehicle Veronica 1 was placed under the custody of the BOC office in Suwal after it was found to be carrying 1,350 kiloliters of smuggled fuel on May 4. WICO called an emergency meeting on Monday during the Maritime Industry Authority confirmed that the vessel was not issued a safety certificate. Commander Mark Theodore Valencia, Philippine Coast Guard Pangasinan Station Chief, said Veronica 1 should be allowed to dock at Suwal Fish Port as a safety precaution for a super typhoon expected to enter the country this weekend. But it has to be ensured that the contents of the ship will be guarded. Wico said even as he stressed that the ship should be eventually removed from the bay. The Department of Environment and Natural Resources said no oil slick has been detected so far in the area. Moving on to news from Laguna. 190.4 million shabu seized in Laguna, report by Ed Amoroso to the Philippine Star. Laguna, Philippines. 28 kilos of shabu with an estimated street value of 190.4 million were seized from a woman and her driver who were arrested in a sting in Calamba City on Wednesday. Donna Gali, 37, a resident of Santo Tomas, Batangas, and John Erwin Cadilinya, 37, of Calamba, were apprehended after selling sachets of shabu to undercover agents in Puroktu in Barangay Makiling. Colonel Randy Gian Silvio, Laguna Police Director, said. A Toyota Hiace van was among those seized from the suspects. Silvio said anti-narcotics officers conducted the operation after receiving reports that Gali took over the illegal drug transactions in Calamba and nearby towns after her partner Fernan Manzero was arrested in January. Lieutenant Colonel Lani Martirez, Calamba Police Chief, said the suspects are on drug watch list and identified as high-value drug targets. Martinez said Gali and Candilena had been under surveillance for 1 week. Additional report from Emmanuel Tupas. And completing our news roundup for today, moving on to sports. Flicker of hope in Boston. Reports from Jesse France Press to the Philippine Star. Miami. No team has ever come back from a 3-0 series deficit in the NBA playoffs. But after their win against the Miami Heat on Tuesday, the Boston Celtics clearly sense a chance of history. The Heat, now 3-1 up in the series, still only need one more to win to progress to the NBA Finals against the Denver Nuggets and remain clear favorites. So long as their flat second half performance proves to be just an aberration. But having responded to the threat of a clean sweep from the Heat, the Celtics are hoping that the raucous home crowd behind them on Thursday at the Garden, they can force a game six. As cliche as it sounds, we just try to take it one day, one game at a time. We try to break it down. We didn't play well the first three games. We didn't deserve to win, but we didn't want the season, said Jason Tatum, who led the Celtics with 33 points. We are still going uphill battle. We still got a long uphill battle to go, but this was a good start. Just to try to carry this momentum towards Thursday. Another below par for performance after Sunday's heavy 128-102 loss on home court would have raised questions about the team's spirit and the future of head coach Joe Mazzulla. But the Celtics again looked like a determined unit that finished second in an Eastern Conference regular season and dealt confidently with Atlanta and Philadelphia on the postseason. We didn't want to come out and lay an egg. We wanted to come out and play together, wanted to come out and trust each other, come out and play some defense, have some pride about yourself, and find a way to win a game. We're all more than capable of doing it. We got it done, said Jaylen Brown. Heat fans had arrived hoping to celebrate a seventh NBA Finals appearance for the three-time champions, but left the arena deflated. The question is whether, after an unexpected run as the eighth seed in the East, the Heat players will suffer a similar loss of energy and spirit. So that concludes our news roundup for today, May 26, 2023, Friday. Shoutout muna tayo sa mga nanonood at nanonood sa atin ngayon. Prince Dahlia, si Sinamban is watching, Admin Sol is watching, Mazel Ems. So si Marcel Pineda is watching. Good morning. Roberto, si Obet is watching. Good morning, Obet. Edwin, brother Edwin Corpus is watching. RJ Angeles, thanks RJ for watching. Good morning, brother Edwin. Si Mac is also watching. Si brother Betchor is watching. Good morning, bro. Si Joy is watching. Joy Taniedo is watching. Good morning, Joy. Si Amboy is watching. Eduardo De Leon. Si Marico D. Rosang Absede is watching. Si Roy is also watching. Good morning, Roy. Si Jem Bitug is watching. At si Bit Dong Mapanaw, who is in Kuala Lumpur, Indonesia is also watching. Good morning sa inyong lahat. And thanks for joining me this hour. At dun sa mga nanonood sa TikTok, thank you very much. Ang dami nyo. Grabe. Thanks for joining me this morning here in TikTok Live. For those of you who are watching in Facebook, I also have a TikTok account, and I'm also doing live in TikTok. So please, if you are busy, or if you have if you're just using a cell phone and you have a TikTok account, you can watch also the live news updates via TikTok. So join me also in TikTok. Do like and also share my TikTok account. So yun na lang po. Mag-iingat po ang lahat. So Ethel Lintag Cabrera is also watching. Good morning, Ethel. And tomorrow we have a regular program of Magkasangga sa Buhay. We will be starting off our live streaming at 6:45 a.m. And aside from the regular topics that we will be taking up, we will also be featuring local talents. So we have allocated time for local talents who will be sharing, who will be singing, showing their skills in singing. So manood po tayo tomorrow, 6:45 to 8:30 hanggang almost 9 o'clock po yun. And I will also be uh, streaming the show tomorrow via TikTok. So I have the platform in Facebook and TikTok, and the recording is automatically saved also in my YouTube channel. So please, for those of you who have YouTubes, please also subscribe to my channel. It's Dong 852 in Kuya Dong 852 in my YouTube. Wait, I'm going to share with you the here it is, the YouTube channel. So all you have to do is to scan the QR code and please subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. By the way, thank you very much for all the support that you have been giving to me in my live streaming in Facebook. Because of you, I have been able to achieve the rising creator status. So it's all because of you guys, no? Because of your support. So please continue to support my live streaming and the videos that I'm sharing with you. It's all for entertainment, and of course, if we could help in sharing facts, sharing truths, in educating people, why not? In sharing our experiences to help other people, why not? So lahat po yan ginagawa natin para sa inyo. So that's about it. And thank you very much again for our TikTok viewers. Thank you for joining me in TikTok. Thank you for watching. And for those who are watching in Facebook Live, thank you very much also. And God bless.
Pwede sumusubok at tumarating sama-sama nating parating. Di ba yan ang iyong loob? Mayroon ng pag-ibig sa'yo. Sa pagkukunan, tayo magkakaroon ay katapasan. lahat ay magkakamayan. Magkasama tayo. Kapamig. Bawat araw sa ating buhay, dahil may pagsubok na dumarating, Diyos ang patuloy natin. Lahat ng hirap ngayong nararanasan ay